Okay, welcome everyone to the Curation Corner, a show about curation of posts on the platform. We'll be talking about what curators look for when curating posts. It's an opportunity to learn how to improve your posts. This is Shadows Pub with co-host Artemis North, and our guest today is Cat Weasel. Welcome, Cat Weasel.
Hi, Cat Weasel.
Good afternoon, all.
Or are we supposed to call you Doc? He's not sure on that.
I didn't hear that.
I said, are we supposed to call you Doc?
Whatever you like. As long as it's nice.
Well, I have chased you around the globe, so, I can be nice.
Occasionally.
Yes, occasionally. Artemis told me that I had to be.
But she doesn't always listen to me, Cat Weasel.
Does she ever listen to anyone?
Well,
not even myself. So, Cat Weasel, how long have you been on the platform?
About a year.
Okay. And what brought you to the platform?
A friend of Rebecca's who was on Google Plus, and considering Patreon, said that Steem it would be much better than Patreon for us.
So Patreon, that's the site where you get people to pledge a certain amount every month, and you produce content. So what kind of content were you producing?
Rebecca is an astrologer and an extremely good writer on all manner of topics.
This is true, she is, along with being an excellent curator.
She took to that job like a duck to water.
She did, and you were right along with her on that, were you not?
Yeah, when I overcame my laziness.
Really? What kind of effort did that take?
Oh, you wouldn't believe. I am extremely inert when I don't want to be anything else.
Well, the world needs more alerts. Oh, inerts. So, have you been inclined towards writing before you come onto the platform, or is the curation is what led you to it?
Sorry, some of that jumbled. Have I been inclined
toward writing before you came onto the platform?
I haven't written in years, but I love writing. I used to have a mail group that I used to write in regularly.
Oh, like an email group?
Yeah, not a I write and mail it out sort of thing, but everybody joins in sort of thing.
Yeah, I was on several of them in their day. I suppose they're still around. They just don't seem to be as active as they used to be. A lot of them have migrated to Facebook.
Did you just swear?
Yes, I did.
Shame.
Please don't. I'm sensitive.
Sensitive? When did that start?
2 minutes ago.
Okay. So, Artemis, I insulted our guest, so you take over and ask some questions.
Oh, fine. Why did you have to be that way?
I think he's given me a timeout.
Okay. Well, I do have a question for you, Cat Weasel. I would love to know how you got involved with the Steem engine and what you do there.
Okay. I kind of said how I got involved. I came in first to test the waters before Rebecca joined.
You mean the Steem engine?
Yes, and that would be Enchanted Spirit, Rebecca.
Yeah, Yeah, you told us how you
So,
come onto the platform, but Artemis is asking about the steam engine.
oh, the steam engine. Sorry. Okay. I think I've got a brain in there somewhere. We'll try and work with it.
So how did you become involved with that? And what do you do there?
Okay. There was a group called the Unmentionables, led by
An unmentionable.
Panda. An unmentionable, yes. He basically drove the group to destruction. And Enchanted Spirit and I approached Ethan D. Smith to see if he would be interested in helping set up a breakaway group.
And
Okay. Within 24 hours, the steam engine was born. With Ethan, Enchanted Spirit, Hope Hugs, and a Panama Mama at its head.
oh, really excellent people. I have to wonder what it's like being married to Enchanted Spirit. She's quite a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah. Okay, Snooks, you're right. She is the greatest. She's not the easiest person to live with, but then nor am I. So I think that comes out as a push.
Well, that's true. And you spend too much time together, it gets a little stressful. But I love her writing, and she's just an amazing talent.
Oh, she is amazing. So am I when I pull my finger out. That's what attracted me to her in the first place.
Well, you have a gift, too. Your posts always make me laugh.
That's what I aim for. That's what I always aim for, is to make people laugh, to entertain.
So tell us about your Magnificent Seven. How did you come up with that, and what do you look for?
Okay. The Magnificent Seven is 7 posts that are collected by Enchanted Spirit or myself or both of us. She puts it together because she's good at that. It's just 7 posts that I really like, or that Rebecca really likes, because if she picks it out, I know it's going to be good. So and then I publish them, and they're mostly, they are truly great posts. I dropped the standards a couple of months or so back to do 2 posts on Grumpy Cat because I was more concerned about the information than the quality, but they were still good posts.
Actually, I find your Magnificent Seven are always good posts to read. I always really enjoy them. So, what do you mean by you dropped your standards for people that don't understand that?
Okay, normally these are what I think are the 7 best posts we can find, or what Enchanted Spirit thinks are the 7 best posts we can find, or a mix. But for those 2 special posts, we were not concerned about the quality of the writing. Hell, we let Engine Witty in.
I was thinking you let me in, so I was grateful.
I was wondering what body parts actually drew Engine Witty in there.
Um, oh, I just threw out a hook and dragged him in.
Oh, well, that works too. So tell us about the steam engine curation, and you and Enchanted Spirit, the whole team's involved with that one. Is that right?
The daily whistle stops is it's basically Enchanted Spirit's baby from start to finish. I help her a little bit with it. Mostly I do the covers.
I think the steam engine is very popular because you guys have such excellent quality. So take us through when you go to the steam engine, you join the Discord. And it's a really excellent place for people to meet and to share their posts, not just pimp them, but to really get involved. And you have to read some of those posts and comment on them before you can even post. So how did you guys come up with that brainchild? Because I think it works really well.
Juro, Awaken to Life, came up with that idea back in the Unmentionables, and we brought it forward with us.
I think it's excellent. And if any one of you that's listening hasn't been to the Steam Engine Discord, you really should go. And on Tuesdays, Ethan D. Smith has a Talk of the Line show where it's based loosely on Pimp Your Post, I think. But it's a great place to go, and everyone's very friendly. So when you're... Go ahead, Kathleen.
Shadows Pub, are you suddenly feeling very proprietary there?
No. Ethan and Awaken to Life talked to me before they started it, and they started it with full agreement and support from me.
Okay, good.
No, they're quick to say that it was the inspiration from Pimp Your Post Thursday.
Well, Shadows, do you have any questions for Cat Weasel? Sounds like you're out of the corner.
Was I in the corner? Oh, right. He's talking to me again.
Damn, what did I do that for?
Yeah, well, you mess that up every now and again. So, what are some of the features you look for in a post when you're curating?
Okay, first of all, it has to be readable. Now, the better the content, the more willing I am to make allowances for the grammar, etc. But I have to be able to read and understand it. Secondly, it has to entertain me. It has to be good. There's something about it has to grab me. Well, the one that springs mostly to mind in the current Magnificent Seven is the one about the toilet.
Why am I not surprised?
That was the first post that actually made me laugh in a long time.
Why don't you drop the link to that one in there and let's have a look at it?
All right, hang on.
Okay. And trust Kitty Girl.
You're always
Thank you, Kitty Girl.
That's the one. Truly. Enchanted Spirit found this somehow. I don't know how. We already had 7 lined up. But I heard her burst out laughing, and she said, I think we've got another one. And I looked at it, and I read it, and I laughed, and I laughed, and I laughed, and I wiped the tears out of my eyes, and I laughed some more.
And appropriately, it's one that's been entered in Comedy Open Mic.
Yes, I've never actually had anything to do with Comedy Open Mic yet.
You just probably
did. Ought to.
Oh, you mean You mean entering yourself?
I do, yes. I've heard of it.
Okay, we got a question here from Jan. I listen to a few who curate, and each time each curator has the reasons for curating and probably which tags they do. Question I have is, if I had the ability to support a curation trail, is there anything specific about your curation that distinguishes your trail from others?
Well, for starters, it's definitely one of the best.
Why?
Well, because Cat Weasel's so humble.
He's a doctor.
Exactly. That too.
I think he's asking you what details would make that one of the best.
I refuse to pick trash. I read through trash, but there's got to be something really, really special about the posts that I pick, the posts that Enchanted Spirit picks, that makes them stand head and shoulders above almost anything else that we can find. Now, I know there are almost certainly posts out there that we've missed that are really, really good. But no, we have very, very high standards. Other people curate for different reasons, and the actual standard of the post is not necessarily why. Okay, the Hive, I will have a look one of these days. I promise.
I don't know. Is the Hive actually a member of the Steem engine?
I was just wondering that, you guys. The Hive, if you go over to the Steem engine and you join, you'll find over there there's a post promotion. And you go in there and you read a couple other posts and you then share yours. And that's how you can make sure that they see you and think about you for their curation.
Yeah, cool. I'll do that. I also use the name Jan23com, which actually is a member of the Steam engine. And I don't want to double up in too many rooms, especially where there is the votes, because then people think I'm just double pimping type of thing. So I just try to avoid that to avoid the issue coming up.
Okay, well, the thing about stuff in the baggage car, you will notice, by the way, that the Steam engine does have a tinge of the railway about it.
Just a bit.
Just a tiny bit.
But things that go in there are normally picked out or picked through for the daily whistle stops by Enchanted Spirit. I don't have anything to do with the picking of those unless she tells me that she's found something that is exceptional and could go in the Magnificent Seven as well.
So, Snook, we're going to digress here for a minute. What did you just drop in there?
Well, it's a series I found through word of mouth that is absolutely hilarious. And it's about the best way to not post or make your post. Kind of a like how to succeed on Steam it, but written in a hilarious, funny way. And I just thought that Cat Weasel might enjoy it.
Okay, but it better not be funnier than me.
That's hard to say, Cat Weasel. I tried to make you laugh once and I failed, so. What can I say?
I remember that several people tried to make me laugh, and you all failed. The toilet made me laugh.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So the moral of the story is don't try to make them laugh.
Well, he made a post that said, "Make me laugh." I mean, he
Ah,
asked for it.
He
I
started.
think that was the first. I think that was the first time I actually came across you, was when you had that post, and I
It
thought
was, yes.
I thought I was funny, but obviously I was not.
and then you joined the steam engine and came across them at the gate.
Well, that was a whole nother story.
There's funny, and then there's just you can't stop laughing. And I have a very high tolerance to humor.
You do, correct? You do, you do. You absolutely do. But this series, when I read it, like I said, I laughed my way through it. I think it was an ingenious way of giving out information and still keeping your attention.
We'll have to check that one out. So, Artemis, have you got a post that caught your attention this week?
I do, actually. I found a post. I'll just pop it here about paracord. That doesn't sound particularly exciting when you say it, but this person made an excellent post about, he gave me the history of it, told me it's even been used by NASA. I'm a paddler, so I've seen the paracord watch bands and different pieces you can get so that you have a really long piece of something very strong to use if you need it. But I've never really thought of making my own. But this person made it sound really interesting to me and gave me a little bit of his personal information. He got into it. He was sick in bed with a cold, and he got hooked on using this paracord. Asked his wife to bring home some from Staples, and that was all she wrote. And then he gives you all kinds of pictures that shows you what he's done with it. And he gives you the option to say, I'm thinking about making some photo tutorials. Let me know if you'd read them. So he went all through. His writing was pretty good. So I would have to say this is a great post.
Now, he started off justified and then went centered on his writing. That maybe was just an editing thing.
It could have been. That's kind of what I wondered. Maybe he hadn't closed off it. But I overlooked the centering because everything else was quite good.
Does look pretty good. And his paragraphs are not overly long.
Yes. And he packed in quite a bit of information in his post.
It's a lengthy post, but it does look like it's interesting. I'm going to have to check that one out.
So do you want to hear about another one that I found?
Okay.
Hang on. Centering and failure to close centering is not an automatic fail with either Enchanted Spirit or I, but it's a big black mark.
I agree.
I agree with you, Cat Weasel. It's hard to read, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very. And there's got to be something there to really draw us in.
I see Azaria made the comment that she prefers centering, and some people do, but the problem is that we write for our readers, and not all readers want to read centered text. In some areas it works well. A lot of yours, Azaria, you're only doing a sentence or two, and it's to explain your music. But a whole paragraph centered can be difficult to read on the screen. Well, read anywhere, actually.
I have to agree. When you read a lot of posts, after a while, it kind of gets to your eyes.
Some poetry works centered.
Oh, poetry, definitely. And actually, some of Azaria's writing is damn near poetry, so I can see why she likes it.
I would have to agree with that.
Yeah, there's exceptions to every kind of, I'm going to use the word rule, but there are no rules, but there are definitely guidelines as to what works and what doesn't work for readers. So I'm going to kind of take us in a little bit of a different direction with one that I chose today. And this one is an example of a short post. It's also an example of photography. There's a lot of photography out there on the platform. Some of it is people just dropping a picture in a post and leaving you to guess what goes with it or doesn't go with it. And I kind of think this is an example of presenting poetry well, and he does one pretty well every day. It's become one of my regular reads. He not only puts the picture up, he doesn't give a big long explanation, but there's some message that goes with it. And I really appreciate the work that he does. When I see posts like this that is with photography, they always get a second look from me. So yeah, short posts can be done.
And centering actually isn't too bad in this one.
Yeah, because it's short and there's a message to it. And again, when you look at it, it's almost like poetry.
And you always get a little piece of who he is in every post. I enjoy Bluefin's.
Yeah. And there are a few others that do similar, but I think he's one of the better examples of it.
Well, he has such a broad range of interests that is, you never know what you're going to see a picture of.
True.
Mr. Studios and Tattoo J are among the better photographers.
I agree. Jay does some phenomenal work.
He does. He's an excellent photographer.
And I think we got another one who's kind of coming right up behind him. He's fairly new to the platform, and we've got him in here today as Hobo Tank.
Yeah, he's a creative person. Yeah.
I think we're going to be seeing more from Hobo Tang when it comes to photography. So, Catweasel, what's the next one that you liked?
Give me a second. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back.
I wonder if the last time he said that, Enchanted Spirit found him down at the local pub.
Oh, geez. I hope she's home to guard the door.
I'm just kind of wondering. It kind of strikes me that he could do that.
I could, but I don't drink.
Ah, that would stop that. So he's hunting.
He's hunting for something funny.
Oh, you never know.
Okay, I'm going to have to go back a month because I haven't done anything lately that I want to show up. But Shout Out Saturdays, Catweasel style, on the 23rd of June.
Now that's something that seems to have kind of fallen by the wayside. I know I've kind of slipped up on it.
You're right, I have too.
We should give it another push. Which reminds me, Crazy BG posted in General yesterday that apparently he's been suffering from food poisoning, and that's why he missed his rerun of his show on Thursday.
Oh, geez, I hope he gets better quick.
Oh, I was wondering what happened to him.
Yeah, he said he was finally feeling better.
Okay, where are you? I know you're around here somewhere.
They're so easy to find on the platform, aren't they?
Well, I had to find Discord first.
Ah, so what happened there? Oh, it looks as though the HTTPS did not carry over.
No, it's the @Catweasel that killed it.
No, there we go.
Okay, that's more better.
It is, isn't it? And what did you want to show up in there?
This is as I think it was you who originally said, Shout Out Saturdays is curating people, not posts.
It's possible. I say weird things like that.
It sounds like something you would have said. But it's
Well,
true.
I'm willing to claim responsibility for it if you'd like.
I'm not hard to get along with sometimes.
Snoop, behave yourself. You're a guest.
One
I'm
well-placed
trying.
snort.
I'm trying.
One well-placed snort.
Snook, did you just make Cat Weasel laugh?
I might have. I don't know. It's hard to tell with him.
So you were curating people in this post, Cat Weasel. Tell us about why that catches your attention.
Okay. Okay. Well, I wrote it, so it's got humor in it. It's got Shadow's Pub in it too, unfortunately, but
Can't have everything.
no, even I'm not perfect.
Yep.
But these are wonderful people who often get included in either the Daily Whistle Stops or the Inbox Runneth Over or the Magnificent Seven. Okay. The Steam engine, not so much, and Steam at board, not so much. But you, Slobber Chops, and Salt and Pepper are at times the backbone of Steam it. Salt and Pepper is, as I say, he has the discipline to publish every day, and his posts range from very good to absolutely wonderful. Slobber Chops is, I've not known him for long, but when I first met him, I thought, this guy's got something. This guy is funny. This guy is entertaining. His topics range from mountain climbing, hill climbing. He doesn't do the big ones, but from hill climbing and touring to his rock. I think that was in the latest Magnificent Seven, and that was very entertaining.
I think one of the things that's really interesting with Salt and Pepper, other than the fact that his posts are often very hard-hitting and funny, is the fact that this is a guy that does a job that takes him out on the road. So you really wouldn't expect him to have a lot of time to be doing the writing.
But every night, he's at his computer.
Absolutely.
Every night.
So the dedication is there. There's no two ways about that.
I wonder if he's similar to a truck driver. The drivers used to always tell us that the only thing they had to do while they were driving was think. So maybe he has his posts written by the time he gets home.
Well, with the ability to record, he could use a voice-activated recorder and, make comments and notes during the day while he's driving.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't ever work like that. He sits down, and he often sits down not knowing what he's going to write. And at the end of it, there it is. I write like that a lot too. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm going to write after I've finished it.
So there's free writing, and then Cat Weasel does blind writing. Would that sum it up?
Blind writing is coming up, did you say?
No, I said you do blind writing so that you don't know what it is when you're finished. You
I,
almost you almost laughed there.
who, me? Nah. But no, I very often don't know what I'm going to write. Uh, Sometimes I don't have it, like Salt and Pepper, I don't have a topic when I sit down. But, and sometimes at the end of a writing session, I still don't have anything. Or what I have is garbage. I have folders and folders and folders full of stuff that I have started and not finished. Because I can't find the punchline or whatever it is I need to finish it.
So at some point you may come back, finish it, and then release it to the world.
Yeah, I do go back and sometimes I do finish them. And Enchanted Spirit has advised me to work on that more. That I will often find what I need. But everybody has a different way to write. I can't plan what I'm going to write. Especially I can't plan it before I sit down. But when I get something and I bring it to fruition, it is worth something. I do not post garbage. I don't think I've ever posted garbage, certainly not deliberately.
Hopefully I haven't as well, but garbage really is in the eye of the reader. I don't usually plan very far ahead. When I sit down, I know roughly the topic I want to do. With some exceptions, the post I did on the D-Day Dodgers, I did need to do a bit of research prior to that, so there was some planning on that one. So Artemis, what have you got that you're intrigued with this week?
That I'm kind of excited about. I added a new tag to my search. I was out walking around one day and I couldn't believe the graffiti in my hometown here in London, and I'm like, wow, that is so creative. So I found this graffiti artist over in Romania. Well, he's not an artist. He like me, he goes out and he walks around, but his post is very artistic. Basically, he's decided that he's going to look at his hometown in Romania as a tourist would. And he's pointing out all of the art that's available just by walking around his hometown. And he's really put a lot of work into this post and has so many examples. And he gives this brief explanations of them. And by the time I finished his post, I was really familiar with his hometown and actually thought it would be interesting to go do this here. It was just an all-around interesting post.
So you're going to be heading out to do similar?
I think so, because there's a lot just around here that I've already snapped pictures of really excellent graffiti art.
I suppose at some point I should take some pictures of the murals here in this community.
There are some beautiful murals there.
Yeah, and they've been purposely done. It's not graffiti. There's their community projects.
Actually, a walk around your hometown would be quite pretty because that park in the middle is a beautiful feature. It's a beautiful old little town.
Well, I've published some photos of the park in town and the some of the other places around, but I didn't do the murals themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So on the art theme, I came across this one as well that I was really impressed with. Not only did the artist take pictures at pretty much every step of the way, it's damn near a tutorial on how to work with the artistic materials that she's working with.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Right down to applying the finishing touches on it. It's a long post, but it's well worth taking the time to read. I would say that she's taken the right about the process to the next level.
Well, now I have to bug you for the link.
Oh, geez. That would help if I put it in there. Here I am scanning down. There we go.
Oh, wow.
She's done some really excellent work there.
And her writing looks very good too.
Yeah, it's to the point, straightforward.
I love a post like this because it gives you hope that you could actually, if you ever have those materials in your hands, you could try your hand at this.
Yeah, if I was to live a pipe dream.
Well, really? Remember Bob Ross?
No, I
Painting
don't.
with Bob Ross.
Tell me about Bob Ross.
Well, he used to do those series of shows, and he'd show you how to paint landscapes. And I picked up a few tricks from him. And this post looks kind of similar. Starting out with your sky and your water, and then you're slowly getting the colors in clouds in your background. It's interesting the way she shows you how she does this. This is a great post, Shadows.
It is. Really well done. I was very impressed by it.
Did you look under your desk, Cat Weasel?
I'm almost afraid to ask where he found it.
Under my cushions.
Okay, that works.
I don't know how in 2 minutes it got from on top to underneath, but especially since I wasn't here at the time. I was thinking, by the way, you know how with some acronyms, one way turns them on and you reverse them and it turns them off?
Okay.
Do you suppose that would work with BRB?
It might. But how would we know you're writing it backwards?
Rats. There's another good idea gone up in smoke.
So do you have another link you'd like to share with us?
I'm sure I can come up with something.
While you're hunting, I found another one that I rather liked. And Kitty Girl says, graffiti was mentioned a few minutes ago. Has anyone heard of reverse graffiti? It's an interesting idea. From Wikipedia, reverse graffiti is also known as clean tagging, dust tagging, grime writing, clean graffiti, green graffiti, or clean advertising. Those are all tongue twisters. Is a method of creating temporary or semi-permanent images on walls or other surfaces by removing dirt from a surface. It can also be done by removing dirt or dust with the fingertip from windows or other dirty surfaces, such as writing "wash me" on a dirty vehicle. Others, such as graffiti artist Moose, uses a cloth or high-powered washer to remove dirt on a larger scale.
That's really interesting. I guess I'm a graffiti artist. I like parking lots.
That concept kind of reminds me of that art project that we used to be given where we had to put a bunch of bright colors on a piece of paper and then cross the top of it with black and then scratch out a picture.
Oh, the stained glass effect.
Yeah. Similar concept by the sounds of it.
I'd love to see some really creative people do this. That sounds really neat. Oh, look at that.
That's good.
Probably done with a pressure washer. Is that wood? Is that ever pretty?
A cautionary tale. Up. Thank you, Bluefin. Okay, Cat Weasel, tell us about this one.
Okay, don't tell Rebecca. But as I say, it's a cautionary tale. The lesson to be learned from it is to be careful what you write. You never know what you'll catch.
Explain, Lucy.
Okay, I wrote this a long, long time ago, and Rebecca saw it, and she wrote to me, and now we're stuck with each other.
Ah. Yes, you're so hard done by that way, aren't you?
But yeah, this is the sort of thing I do. It's the sort of thing I've done for a long, long time is write something with a twist. Write something that people may not necessarily laugh out loud at, because I like dry humor. I like dark humor, but this is fairly dry, but it's funny, and it worked.
So you're saying
Go ahead, Snook.
So you're saying you wrote it to get Enchanted Spirit?
No, I had no idea she existed. I wrote it to make people laugh, to tickle their fannies,
to brighten the world.
That too.
Well, I'm smiling.
But
I just took a second to read the whole thing, and I'm smiling. That's a great story. Best 50 quid you ever lost.
I do have to admit that when I see Cat Weasel's name appear in my Genobot feed, that I go check it out. But I didn't really want to feed his ego
there. I'm not conceited at all. Trust me. Conceit is a fault.
Which would be why I didn't want to give you the feeding. So another post that I came across that I thought was quite good was this one. It was actually appeared earlier today. And this one deals with a drought. Large parts of Europe are struggling with high temperatures and the effects of drought. And he's got some incredible pictures in here. I'm assuming from the language that the author is probably Dutch, because his English isn't bad, but there's some twists on it in places, but it's still quite understandable. But I thought that he did a great job of portraying the subject.
If you go to Holland, you will not be able to learn Dutch. They won't let you. They are constantly honing their language skills, and most Dutch, certainly that I ever came in contact with, have multiple languages spoken at fairly high levels.
Well, I don't have to go to Holland to encounter a lot of Dutch people. As a lot of Dutch people came into both the area I was raised in and this area after the war. So there's still a strong influence of it around here. Now, the only high levels meaning the stream, or are they extremely fluent?
They are extremely fluent. You ask, excuse me, do you speak English? And 9 times out of 10 they do, or they point you to their companion who does, and my language skills are fairly high, so I don't get put to shame, but I know a lot of non-English native speaking people from places like Holland and India who put the average American to shame.
Interesting. So one factor in this post here is that some of the paragraphs are considerably longer than I'm particularly comfortable with, but the content was there, so I read it anyways. Of course, as you know, that's one of my favorite things to pick on.
That is one of your. So it has to be posted. Continue.
You cut out a little bit there, kiddo.
Oh, sorry. I said, so it must be a considerably good post if you continue.
Exactly. And you're still cutting out, but I caught that.
That's what I was saying earlier about a post. It doesn't have to be perfect in all ways, but there has to be something in the post that makes it worthwhile reading through the long paragraphs and the centering and all the other mistakes that people can make. If it's good, it's good.
And Safi's commenting that Sweden is burning lots too. I gather that a good portion of Europe is struggling in the heat. Jack says that English is the official language of India. Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
Interesting.
It's where Britain got most of its clerics, etc. It's civil servants. That's what I was looking for. For a long time, most of Britain's civil servants came from India.
Which thus the reason for teaching children English. So you lived in Toronto at one time, Cat Weasel.
Yes, I did.
And what took you there?
My family, a boat. I worked 2 at the time, so nobody even bothered to ask me.
So you went there as a youngster?
Yeah, I went to school there.
Until what age?
2 till 17 or 18.
And then you struck out to where?
I went home again. My dad was going home again, and he asked me, did I want to go with him?
And how long did you stay there? Home being England, I expect.
Correct, yes. He moved on to Portugal after a while, but I stayed in England until Enchanted Spirit dragged me across the pond to never be seen again.
Never to be seen again. And you're locked up somewhere?
I am. Apparently, I did not know this before I came, or I might have thought twice about it. But apparently, there are 2 counties in the entire United States where slavery is still legal. And I'm stuck in one of them.
Perfect. That's one way of keeping you under control. So the hive says Rapunzel Catweasel. Do you have long hair?
No, I don't. I used to. I'm not allowed long hair, just precisely for that reason, I think.
Oh, of course, on the other hand, with long hair, enchanted spirit could grab you easier when you try to escape.
Well, yeah, she just, I don't know. She decided this was the way she wanted to do it, so this is the way she does it. What say do I have in it? I'm a mere slave. I don't get to choose nothing. I'm just thankful when I get fed.
And preferably cheese, eh? Go ahead, Artemis.
Well, I'm sitting here kind of giggling inside because you sound just like my husband.
Yeah, do you live in one of these two counties as well? Is he a slave too?
Well, apparently, the province I live in must still have slave labor. Or they don't have. I never let them do anything.
Enchanted Spirit wouldn't let me do anything if she could manage it.
So, Artemis, do you have a post that you want to wrap up with?
Okay. It's actually a fun post and it gives me some feel goods. It's about a member of the Needlework Monday group, and she hasn't posted to Needlework Monday ever. In fact, she's been dealing with a lot of family stuff and anxiety and depression, and she just went to the dollar store and bought herself a little needlework point or a needlepoint, a cross-stitch kit. New tongue, I just bought this. And she sat down and did it, and she just felt really good to do it. And I think that's what I really loved about this post.
It was a feel-good post.
It's a feel-good post. It's everybody. I realize we're not all crafters or, needlepoint workers, but we all have our things that we like to do. And this post just reminded me that life pulls you away from it. You can always go back.
Those are the kind of posts that I like to read. Are like real posts from the heart.
Yeah.
If there's time, I have a bone to pick with you, Shadows Pub.
Okay.
I read something about I was supposed to be involved with this a few days ago. I didn't know anything about it. Nobody told me nothing. And then I got your message that you sent about 6 o'clock this morning. I got that about 9 o'clock. And I was on my way out the door.
You
Yes?
might want to explore back through your DMs. You and I had a conversation about it, and your answer to me was, I am on call, and if I don't get called out to work, I will do it.
Yeah, and guess what? I got called out.
That was the reason I emailed you this, or DM'd you this morning.
Yeah.
To find out if you were available.
Okay, what were you going to do if I couldn't make it back?
Well, either Artemis and I would have to wing it all the way through, or we'd have to find someone else pretty quick.
Finding a replacement Catweasel is probably not the easiest thing in the world.
Trust me, we wouldn't try to find another Catweasel.
You mean you wouldn't dare?
Oh, I'd dare, but I wouldn't.
I don't think you'd dare. One of me, as I'm sure, just as much as you can handle.
Oh, we'll leave that one alone.
Oh, I know you can handle me, but I'm not sure you can handle two of me.
depends on where she's got to bury the bodies.
What hotel room? Still could get that reference.
I'm laughing. I just couldn't hit my key fast enough.
And for that cat weasel to understand that reference, you'll need to go and watch the Pants Are Optional episode where Snook interviewed me.
Yes.
Oh, okay. And did you wear any?
Not commenting.
Anyway, you did say about in my DM with you, I'd said things, and do you not know about my memory?
It may be that I forgot.
You don't know how seriously, diabolically I suffer from Craft disease?
Can't remember F all.
Yep.
No, that's not top of my list to know what Cat Weasel's memory is like.
It's also called CRS.
Yeah, I like the first one. Can't remember F all. Same thing. So
Anyway.
It's been good having you, even if you almost forgot that you were even going to be with us. And Artemis?
Yes.
Take it away.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for being here. And I'd like to also remind you that in an hour's time at 4 o'clock, we'll be over at Talk of the Line. Ethan D. Smith and Awakened Life and Zenart have the show over there. So if you're not busy, go and check it out. If you'd like to keep up to date with the shows and schedules on Rambling Radio, just scroll up and click on the show schedule. And to everyone that showed up, thank you, but especially Cat Weasel, it's been a pleasure being able to talk to you. And everyone have a great day.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.